So welcome all of you to the final day of this workshop, The Freedom of Self-Forgetfulness with Dr. Monica Giolotti. And before we start the session as usual, we'll just step back for a few moments of silence. Thank you.
So welcome everyone. Yeah, anything anyone would like to share from last 2 days or their experience of what we have been doing, trying to practice? If anyone wants to share something, please go ahead.
So yesterday we were left with the homework to look at what caused us disruption or disappointment. And I picked one example. And first I looked up the 8 worldly concerns again, and that was instructive. And I found after traveling recently, yesterday, I discovered one small bag that I had not unpacked yet. So it was hidden in a corner of my room or tucked away somewhere, lost. And so I immediately unpacked it and sorted it and dealt with it. And as I felt into that, I recognized I was avoiding the pain of self criticism for having missed it when I did the unpacking earlier. So I had an image, almost if you can picture an amoeba, a single-celled organism under a microscope, and you see an amoeba and it encounters a toxic substance, and the amoeba pulls back. And I had the image of myself like an amoeba just responding to, whoa, there's some pain, and pulling back. So it was a cute and instructive illustration for me.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think this is where, so you put it so visually in front of us. And this is where I feel that we have to change. This is where things have to change, where Sri Aurobindo says that equality is the foundation that we have to work with. And equality we all see in our lives, that it doesn't come very easily. And we have to go through so many experiences of life and situations and difficult people and difficult our own self before we reach that equality. It doesn't come, mostly we have seen that it doesn't come like that. And even if I may be equal in a certain situation for a long time, we see that after a threshold, that equality is taken away from us. So that is no equality which can get shaken up. It's like you are just kind of burning within, and it's just like tolerating, and then it just bursts. We can't call that equality. So equality is something which is unshakable. And I feel that through our experiences and through our attached points in our life, again and again, when we suffer, when we grow wise through all of that, then slowly I think we realize that there is no point in that getting disturbed again and again, because anyway, it's whatever I get through the world is temporary, it's fleeting, and I don't have to bank upon that. And what is true is always with me. So then what is there to lose? And then equality can kind of trickle in and expand also. So this is very good because we see what is the work to be done. So equality in pleasure, pain, indifference. No shrinking, no overexcitement, and no indifference either. That's what ideally we have to work. This is the work to be done. So it's good to have this image in front so that we know what to do. Yeah. So, and I've seen that slowly the same situation may happen again and again, and we actually progress in degrees. It's like Sri Aurobindo says, like it's like a spiral. We think that we are at the same point again, but actually many things have changed in the very same point also. So yeah, great. Thank you. Anyone else wants to add on? Okay. So if not, then we can move ahead for today. And today I thought I want to touch upon something which we don't address it very bluntly and on the face, which is going through humiliation. Because this is something which ego doesn't want to do. Any ego doesn't want to get humiliated, and that's the thing that we have to let go of. So what if, I propose, what if we learn to go through humiliation, like saying that it's okay. I mean, it's okay to get humiliated. Because I've seen that whenever we feel as an ego, identified with the ego consciousness, the limited self, and there are others in the picture and me, there are many occasions, and especially with the attached spots, where an occasion comes where you feel insulted, rejected, not embraced, and humiliated because your point of view was not taken into account or whatever. And when we can't go through humiliation, it actually doubles up the problems. It doesn't resolve any problem. And if I can easily go through humiliation, it's okay. Right now, the ego is getting humiliated. You can feel the pain in the body, but it's not you, it's the ego getting humiliated. And you can go through it because it's also temporary. It's like it comes and goes, that pain in the body of humiliation. So this is one thing which I have seen for myself, that if I learn to go through humiliation and insult and rejection, just like how easily we go through praise and everything else, then also we step back into the equanimous position, which is the true consciousness. So learning to go through humiliation, it's okay to be humiliated. It's not a big deal. There also we put forward equanimity in front rather than putting the ego in front when we go through. So enduring the pain of, if there is, because usually there is pain associated with humiliation. So enduring the pain of humiliation in the body. So you are like you are breathing through, and there is pain in the body, but it's temporary, and you stay with that pain and breathing as long as required. And you see that it evaporates. It evaporates. It's not a big deal. Telling yourself that, yes, I can go through it. So there also self-forgetfulness comes in the picture, because when I'm letting humiliation be and like really not doing anything much about it, then you are letting the ego take a back seat and putting your bestest front in the picture. You are identifying with your true consciousness and not identifying as the ego, because we are not the egos. And we suffer when we become identified with the ego. Yeah, so this thing I wanted to share today. So to go through humiliation, insult, rejection, and that again we can connect with the 8 worldly concerns, because now it doesn't matter if I don't get fame or name. It's fine. What can fame give me? What can name give me? Even if I become accepted and embraced where I want to be accepted and embraced, what lasting contentment can it give me? So there, and second thing I wanted to share was yesterday we were talking about uh, the threefold nature. I touched upon it, and yesterday or day before, and I said that there is this individual soul. Sri Aurobindo talks about all these three things: individual soul, immanent divine within, and then there is nature, which is the universal or the collective, uh, the functions, the abilities, the mind, intellect, emotions. This is all, it's a collective nature that all of us have. Nothing special about me having that nature. Everyone has that. So that's the universal. And then there is transcendental. So yesterday I didn't go into detail, but today I want to conclude with that, because when we are self-giving, Sri Aurobindo says that left to itself, soul and nature will go round and they can't do anything because what do? They are like that. And who to give yourself to? And that is where the transcendental it comes into the picture, because who are we giving ourselves to? Who are we giving our nature to? We see all the lower nature and instincts that we don't want to be there. Who are we offering ourselves to? And the magnet is the transcendental. And what is there in us as a magnet which pulls up is the soul, because that's the portion of the divine put in us so that the soul can ascend and take nature along, because soul is the one which will be looking at the nature and offering the nature again and again. So that with the self-giving, more and more self-giving, what happens is that when there is receptivity and everything like opens up to the higher consciousness, then the higher descends in the lower to work out the change. Because we realize that left to ourselves, we are helpless. What do I do with this burdensome self, which always craves and wants and wants and wants? And when we become conscious of that craving nature, then because of that consciousness, soul consciousness present, which is looking at that nature, being so, stuck in the same loop, it offers that craving to the divine, so that it can be transmuted. So when we were reading Mother's prayers and meditations yesterday, this we get a reflection of this self-giving to the transcendental, and kind of a change of nature and a change of each element of the being through that self-giving. Because left to ourselves, what can we do? How to make the change? But we have the equipment for change, which is our consciousness given to us, which will look at what to change in the nature. So we have to stop defending our dramas and storylines, because there is no end to it. There is no end to it. And all of us are stuck there. You may have a different story, but I too have a story, but it's a different story. Nothing special about our stories, really. In every story, there is one single common thread. I am wanting. And that is the function of the desire soul, identification with the desire soul, which always craves and wants, can never get satisfied. And if we look back at our life, we will see that so many times our desires have been granted. It's not that they have not been granted. What has happened? We wanted something else. And along with that, let's reiterate that what we were discussing, Sri Aurobindo suggests a positive way, along with that self-giving that we are doing, to establish positive peace in the body, mind, and emotions. Visualizing peace, mountain-like stillness, unmovable, immovable, unshakable stillness and peace in the body, mind, and emotions, which allows a positive change to happen, creates a ground for the things to descend and the change of nature to take place. It's a difficult task, change of nature. It's not easy. And when we work on ourselves, we realize how difficult also it is for other people to change, whom we are wanting that they should change. So slowly we can become a little more empathetic when we look that, oh, my nature is so difficult to change. So what can we expect from others? And yesterday we also focused on to give our life to a higher purpose, so that we have more occasions to be forgetful of the little me. So whatever we are doing, whatever task has been given, granted to us right now in this phase of our life, doing it the best we can, with utmost sincerity that we can. Whatever task, it may be as trivial as anything householdly, or the chores of day-to-day life, doing it the best way, because there also we see that even if it's something very mundane and we have been doing it forever, we see that there also a change can be made. If we look sincerely, you can do a little better, a little tweak here and there. We see that it's like an never ending, kind of a walk towards perfection. Maybe I park my car in a little better manner so that it's much easier for the others to park, for example. When we go to a departmental store or we buy things, maybe there we become a little more conscious, maybe less plastic, or recycling in a better way, or trying to reuse and reduce things rather than buying more and more plastic. Anything. I'm just giving examples. Maybe greeting the people who you are meeting in a more conscious manner and really wishing for them to have a good day. You may be meeting them every day, but never really thought of them having a good day. So, and they may not know that you're thinking of them having a good day, but it works. It changes our being and it changes their day. So small things we can do in our day-to-day life, where we are again changing the lower to higher in little things which we never really focused or gave it so much attention. So there is never a chance to get really bored of life. There's so much change that we can make still. Maybe we are folding our clothes and we notice that we are folding it in a hurry. So we do it a little nicer, a little more, very little things. Because consciousness has to spread everywhere, from the lowest to the highest. So it's not only that on the surface the change has to come, in each detail. And that's what we see with Mother, that how much consciousness and attention Mother used to give to details. And giving ourselves very small, practical, doable things to change. Not giving ourselves so much demand on ourselves that we can't actually cope up with that. So being kind, as we were discussing yesterday, is that give yourself small things which you can achieve. Because otherwise, if we give ourselves too much, like we were talking about yoga, 1 hour of yoga or 1 hour of meditation, forget about it. If you can start with 5 minutes, and that too, if we can focus on a specific time where I want to do. What is 5 minutes? I mean, 5 minutes, we really loiter around like that these days. But with 5 minutes, things can change with a regular discipline. And where is the mind resting? Throughout the day, wherever I have empty pockets of time, where is the mind resting? And Mother says we are always surrounded by the things that we think of. So rather than thinking about this or that or my story again and again, can I think of the divine? Can I think of something beautiful? Because whoever you are thinking about is present with you. Even if we are thinking about people in our life with whom we may have difficulties or attached relationships, keep offering yourself and them to the divine. That I don't know what to do in this situation, but I offer all of us to the divine. So slowly Like you look at mother's picture or any picture that you like, and then you offer yourself, then you offer your attached relationships, then you offer your relatives, then you slowly realize that, oh, I can actually offer the whole of earth. So bring them along. This is actually a visualization practice in Buddhism also, where you prostrate in front of all the Buddhas that have existed in the past and right now also exist in different realms. And then you prostrate not only yourself, but you imagine all the creatures of this planet prostrating with you. It's quite a, I think it widens your consciousness, no? Not only for yourself, but you're taking all along. Even if that one may be a difficult person, he's also suffering. Because of ignorance, everyone suffers. So changing ill will to goodwill. Very, very important. And people may not talk to you, or people may not think very highly of you. Doesn't matter. It's okay. Bring them along in your prayers, and because everyone wants to be content, and everyone is suffering when they are identified with their desire soul. Yeah, anything here? Anyone? All right, so we stopped here yesterday, but there are more prayers of the mother where mother shares with us, or we get a chance actually to see how she had been offering continuously. So we stopped at this slide in the last session, and then we go ahead. We see January 7, 1914. Open their blinded eyes and their darkened understanding, calm their futile worries and their vain anxieties, turn their gaze away from themselves, and give them the joy of being consecrated to thy work without calculation or mental reservation. So mother has noticed someone who is full of agitation, or a group of people who are not able to see clearly but thinking that they are right. So mother includes them in her prayer, because she knows that nobody can be content and happy living like that, no matter how arrogant. More the arrogance, more the suffering. So mother says, may they turn their gaze away from themselves, again forgetting your own little self, and give them the joy of being consecrated to thy work without calculation or mental reservation. Just the joy of progress, because whenever we are giving ourselves to mother's work, it means we are also giving ourselves to the integral change within our being. And any progress whatsoever, however little, it brings joy in the being. March 1, 1914. Grant that I may be perfectly conscious and master of all that constitutes this personality, so that I may be delivered from myself, this little myself that we are talking of, and thou alone mayst live and act through these multiple elements. Beautiful description of integral yoga. So that each element of our being is, we are consciously able to look at that element and see that element transform to a greater, higher consciousness. So she says, may I be perfectly conscious of each and every part of my being. And when I'm conscious, then of course that transmutation or offering and change is possible, so that I may be delivered from myself. Because if I'm not conscious of my own elements, then I will actually be living more and more as the limited ego. But when I become conscious of this and that and that and this, then slowly, all of that burden can be shed off by more self-giving. And then I am rid of myself. And you alone live. The elements are working, they are doing their job, but the mind is also working. Thoughts are coming, everything is fine. Intellect is functional, but it's all the divine working through all these instruments. April 20, 1914. So Mother says that after feeling hopeful that I would at last be delivered from this obscure and cumbersome self, I feel I am as far from the goal as before, as ignorant, as egoistic as I was before this great expectation. Amazing, no? So again, as Mother shares, that the more sincere we become, we realize that we can have more scope for sincerity. So little parts in our being show up for more an illumination. Cumbersome self, obscure, it's thick, forms a curtain. May 31, 1914. All my being prostrated itself before thee, O Lord, in mute adoration and complete self-giving. May 16, 1927. One must know how to give one's life and also one's death, give one's happiness and also one's suffering, to depend for everything and in all things upon the divine dispenser of all our possibilities of realization, who alone can and will decide whether we shall be happy or not, whether we shall live or not, whether we shall participate or not in the realization. And actually, in one of the other prayers, Mother actually says that how does it matter if the thing that is to be done doesn't happen through me, this instrument or other instrument, how does it matter? So that humility. So not only we have to keep offering our happiness whenever you feel joy, elation, something has happened in life and you're feeling very light and happy, continually offering it to the divine, transcendental, not keeping it to my little self, me, my happiness. And again, not only happiness, but suffering. And we don't have to do anything about suffering. Because when we offer, we offer. We don't take it back. But the problem with us is we keep on taking it back and want to do something about it. So that's where we have to change, that the moment I notice a suffering in me about anything in life, and mostly through my attached points, I notice it, I become conscious of it. Yes, it's there. And I do nothing about it. I just offer it. Offer the whole pain of the body and emotions and mind to the divine, to the transcendental. That look, this is there and I don't know how to deal with it. I've gone around in loops again and again. Now this belongs to you. You know what to do with it. I'll do what I'm supposed to do, whatever tasks we have to do as sincerely as possible. So we don't have to bother about our suffering either. And he knows the best whether we will suffer or not, whether we shall participate or not, whether we shall be happy or not. So if I have the sadness, sadness is not the problem. The problem comes when I'm not happy to be sad. I don't want to be sad. Sadness is there. It can stay because maybe the Lord wants me to be sad. So letting it be. In the body, staying with the sadness, how does it feel? In the body, breathing through the sadness. It's fine. Sadness is there. Everything is temporary. So that is also to come and go. Visitor visiting us. So again, we go back to equanimity. That sadness is welcome as well as happiness, if it's there, because it's like a step-by-step process. And for a long time, sadness may keep on returning. The residues may keep on returning. And it's fine, they can return. They have lived there in this house, thinking that it's their house. So they will return, and it's okay. But the more we become okay by their return and do nothing about it, actually, we just have to be with them, and nothing, no resolution in the mind to be done, no resolution in the feelings to be done. And it requires a lot of endurance and stillness in the body, because the more still we get in the body, the more we can endure all these ups and downs which are bound to come in a progressive evolution. And then she says, in the integrality and absoluteness of this love, this self-giving, lies the essential condition for perfect peace, the indispensable foundation of constant beatitude. So integrality means each part of my being, each part of my thought, emotions, the bad ones, the darker ones, the good ones, everyone is shown to the divine, offered to the divine. So integral illumination. Nothing is left only for me. So when I'm giving everything that I see in myself. Oh, I see a good quality. Belongs to the mother, of course. Who am I? Mother says that we'll actually become very humble when we know that there is nothing we can do if not for the divine. The mind and intellect that we have, we become so proud of. How is that mind functioning? We have no control over it. How am I able to understand these words? I have no control. It's just a matter of fact that it's functioning. Who is making it work? So mother says that we become very humble, and it becomes natural to be humble, or be grounded, when we know that we are actually nothing without the divine. What is there to be proud of? It's like a common share of abundance shared with everyone. Everyone, where we see that, oh, this person is working so nicely, he has sound intellect, mind. Where is that coming from? They're divine. Where is the things coming in me? From the divine. So absoluteness of this love, this self-giving, lies the essential condition of perfect peace. And we notice that the more we offer everything and do not keep anything to our own little self, we actually become more and more peaceful, because we are not now chewing and regurgitating on the elements which actually we don't have to do anything about. So there is more peace, because all the task you have given to the divine, you have given to the right source where it belongs. A problem with the relationship, most common for us. Because we are social beings, we live in interactions, we live in connections with people, and they're bound to be disturbances. What do we do? None of my business. Because when I made it my business, I realized what a mess I created. So what do? I notice the mess, I notice the entanglement, and I ask for divine illumination. I offer the whole thing, each and every person involved in the situation, to the divine. And there I'm acting actually blind. I'm saying that I can't see. I don't know what is the right step to take. So you can see, you guide. Yeah, this also I found very interesting. One letter to a sadhak. Dryness is ordinarily the sign of too great a concern with oneself. When we are feeling dry. And the concern can be either material concern connected with the world, or maybe a spiritual concern where I'm concerned about my progress, maybe. And thereby, dryness, mother says, it's a concern with oneself and a consequent narrowing of the consciousness. So the all-embracing consciousness becomes very narrow, and like it can't see fully, becomes too engrossed in itself. And that's where mother says dryness usually comes from. And Mother, as always, gives us the remedy. Offer your begging bowl to the divine. A completer self-giving to the divine. No concern needs to stay with me. If I have a concern and I have noticed that concern, offer it, give it. And we may take it back because that's our habit to take it back. The moment we see that we have taken it back, again give it, again give it, again give it. Shamelessly keep giving it. And then we come towards the end of misery because we see that we create our own misery by being too occupied with ourself. And Sri Aurobindo says that experience shows that in proportion as we deliver ourselves from the limiting mental and vital ego, we command a wider life, a larger existence, a higher consciousness, a happier soul state, even a greater knowledge, power, and scope. Because as if it's all liberated from the bondage of ego consciousness. You are out of a cage. In proportion as we deliver ourselves from the limiting mental and vital ego. So as again we were discussing on the first day, what is the measure? This is the measure. A lightness in the being. And even if there may be outwardly complications, which may stay and will stay for a long, long time because universe is diverse, situations are diverse. It's none of my concern now. In the sense like, again, putting my head into it, knowing that I can't see the larger picture and yet trying to resolve it with the narrow mind. And knowing that with the narrow mind, we can't really get to supreme resolutions. So in proportion as I will deliver myself from the limiting self, which is not now concerned about his own viewpoint or, happiness, we command a wider life. What we were seeing yesterday in one of the prayers, what a sovereign royalty it is when we are not living as a beggar. We command a wider life, a larger existence, a higher consciousness, a happier soul state, even a greater knowledge, power, scope. Because the power, where usually the power is the vital. It's coming from the energies. And all the energies, when they are not trapped in the narrow walls of ego and what is my story and what should I get from out of it, the power is actually released from it. It's released from the cage. And now you can be more powerful in the worldly interactions. There is more dynamic action that you can take because so much of energy is there. What do we do with that energy? You will put it into the right place. So you command more power. There is more scope. To recover what is lost, we must break out of the walls of ego. Yeah, and then again, as I was discussing yesterday, that one has to go up above the head to get in touch with our larger, wider consciousness so that the mother's consciousness descends in the lower frame, vital and body, and it makes the change. So this is something which one can do as a practice continuously. And I just made kind of a, like something with a drawing, knowing that what happens when we are preoccupied and what happens when we are not occupied with our little self. So when we are occupied with our little self, there is hardly any stable peace and joy. It comes and goes because everything is dependent on outward circumstances and they keep on changing. So my peace and joy also keep on changing. Burdensome. It is burdensome because whatever is giving me disappointment, I keep on thinking about it. And the more I think, the more I get entangled and it makes my mind and feelings very heavy. It drains energy. because all the energies are just lost in trying to resolve the knots, which actually I can't resolve. So it drains energy. All the energies go there. And one always is begging, like a beggar, wanting something from this life. And it's also very narrowing or limiting. While when we offer more and more, and there is constant self-giving going on, situations outwardly may be similar, not very different, but there is inward felicity because I'm not focused on whether my ego is fulfilled or not. So what is there to be sad about? It lightens life because there is hardly anything to think about. And even if I think about what I should do in terms of making something more and more perfect and good and whatever task I'm doing right now. And that thinking is allowed. Thought is a tool which we can use. And when we are not thinking too much about ourselves, then we also live like a king, because what is there to be afraid of? You have now no demands from this life. You know that this world can't give you anything because that thing is already with you. So you live like a king. You're not begging, not living like a beggar anymore. So you reclaim your inner kingdom. You come back to your throne and live in abundance. Because we realize also, as we were discussing, that how much the divine has already granted us. A sound body, a sound intellect, good feelings mixed with whatever, but good feelings are there. The ability to feel, the ability to sense, the ability to be conscious, a sound place to live, the ability that we can practice, we can offer money and practice. So many things are at their proper place. We never feel grateful for that. Or if ever, it's like gratefulness comes and goes. Again, the begging mode switches on. And that's why the flower for gratitude, if we have seen, it's like a very delicate flower, light purple colored flower, and that is gratitude, and it wilts very soon because that's our gratitude. It doesn't stay for long, mostly. But the more we practice gratitude, we actually come home to, oh my God, okay, those things may not be there, which I'm missing in my life, but there is so much already I have. Can I make the best of my resources right now? Let us make the best of our resources right now. Because I remember that, uh, once in a while, I tell myself that one should actually visit hospitals and see how much is happening there, because it really grounds you. People are going through so much every day. It's like a different world altogether when you go to hospitals, and many of us, may visit from time to time. And when we are at home, so many things at our disposal, we don't realize how much we have and how much actually we can make of this opportunity. So in Buddhism, they actually make it a point to again and again ponder over the preciousness of the opportunity given to us. Preciousness of so many good things that we have right now. Preciousness of human birth. Because it's only in human birth that we can collaborate. And then when we are self-forgetful or not preoccupied with our little self, we have an expansive consciousness. We can see more. And this you can see when your mind is clear, your feelings are clear. The very thing, the very wall in front of you, as if you see differently. You notice things that may skip your attention when you are too engrossed in yourself. So there is more chance to clean that place more perfectly, or to notice the details more perfectly. And if you are an artist, when you are drawing or sketching, you see that there is more clarity in your vision, because the mind and feelings are not stuck anywhere. Their knots are not there. So it gives you expanse. And any so-called non-happy situation may happen through the day, which of course can happen anytime, and you deal it with a better manner, in a better attitude, because what is there to lose? the best thing you already have. There is nothing to lose. Nobody, no bad situation can take that abundance from you. Even in a prison, you are a king. Only if we realize that we are a king. So what can any sad situation take away from you? It cannot shake you actually if you have reclaimed the kingdom of heaven within. So it gives you energy. Because the more you live in that fountain of abundance, the more as if you are always plugged in. You're always plugged in. Like we plug in and charge our batteries. And it's important for us to plug in. And slowly we realize that, okay, in the beginning we think, okay, once a week I will plug in. Rest of the time I will live the natural, whatever life, which seems natural to me. And then we realize that actually constantly remaining plugged in is the way that it should be. Because we have become separated. That's why our energy drains out. And if my energy is draining out again and again, it means I'm not plugged in. So if not in the divine, I have to become conscious. Where am I plugging in? Because wherever I am putting my plug in, it's actually draining my energy rather than giving me energy. So to be conscious of where I am plugging in, because somewhere or other we will be plugging in. We are sticky creatures and we have a plug. So what to do with that plug? So wherever we see that opportunity, we plug in, right? But based on my basic day-to-day energies, I will become conscious that, okay, today I'm feeling a little too drained. Where was I plugged in? And we will notice that whenever we are plugged in me and my story, and what did that person and this person, and I didn't get this, and it shouldn't have happened to me. It's very draining and it's not the right place to plug in. So using that consciousness, which tells me the right place to plug in, I plug in the right place and make use of all the empty pockets of time which I get. And the moment I'm plugging at the wrong place, again, I become conscious and change. So to notice where the mind is resting, where the feelings are resting, and slowly see the change in energy that you get. It actually changes a whole big deal in our life. And I'm sure many of us may have noticed whenever we are plugged in consciously, our energy level changes. We may be running around throughout the day, but we don't feel drained in energy. Of course, the physical may need some rest. But mentally, emotionally, we feel like, okay, next, give me the next thing. I'm ready for it. So that's again a measure. Since we were talking of measure, that's an indication of the right thing being done. And problems will happen, they will continue to happen because there is so much in the universe and in myself, in others that has to change. But that is my task. That's the Sri Aurobindo symbol, in the muck, the lotus grows. Yes. So what do you think? Yes, we can have some sharing or question, or if one feels there are still some things that no, all this is okay, but what to do when this happens? So one can share if you like to, and we can talk about it. We can see if it had been excluded from the discussion. This we have to really become very comfortable with our voidness, because when we are trying to work on the vital, which is the one thing that needs to be worked upon, the desire soul, the craving self, then when it will not go to the places where it would otherwise go in aggression, and you are stepping back from going there, there will be a kind of emptiness that we will feel in our life, or maybe we already feel. Maybe we have gone through such experiences. And if we can continue to stay with that emptiness, a voidness, a blankness, more and more it becomes our friend, rather than running away from that blankness. More and more it becomes our friend. And in Letters on Yoga, those of us who may have maybe read or can read, in Letters on Yoga, maybe part, if I'm not wrong, 3, Letters on Yoga 3, Sri Aurobindo shares that blankness, voidness, emptiness is actually a phase that has to come while working on ourselves. It is a very essential phase that comes. And it's a positive sign that a child who was earlier very naughty and always involved in naughty activities, he has now stepped back. And right now, he may not be involved with many positive activities, but he's at home sitting. Maybe doing nothing, just sitting. And it's a very positive sign, because naughtiness meant that he was so restless that he could not contain itself. But now he's able to contain itself and be in that stillness, voidness, blankness, emptiness. So it's a very positive sign. And slowly we see that the more we become friends with it, the more energy is sustained in the being. And slowly, universe works in mysterious ways. Slowly we get the right opportunities to use that vital energy which is now contained. So the right opportunities come, the right works come to you, the right books may come to you, where you can offer that energy now, which you had been, it's called tapasya, it's, you are doing a tap, it's ingathering of energy, which was earlier scattered everywhere. And I'm sure all of us have gone through it, how beautiful it is to be with one's own stillnesses, silence, because there we commune with God. So to give ourselves more and more a chance to be in that communion. And slowly it happens with time that not only in silence are we in communion, in the works there is a communion, in thoughts, in feelings, in action. And that is what integral yoga is. Not only am I in communion in my cave or retreat within, but when I get into works, when I get into interactions with people, what I channel out is beauty and light. Because there is no poison that is left of self-preoccupation. And I think we all have this task to do, really. All of us who have read Mother and Sri Aurobindo even a little, how beautiful it is, if we really make our life worthy of this change. And what a waste of life if not. Because what world is in need of at this time, and not only at this time, since a long time, because we read Mother and Sri Aurobindo's words, and they have been saying the world is in crisis, and that crisis has been, it's like continuing. What we need, we see, is the capacity to love, the capacity to really be nice, kind, good and wise human beings. After all our education and degrees and all the big things that we have done, what we lack is kindness, gentleness, and love. Nations fight. Why do nations fight? Because we as human beings fight. How can we expect a nation not to fight when I, who is an atom of that nation, I am always in turmoil and fighting either within myself or in a relationship? The political leaders are not at fault then, when the atom is corrupt. And mother says that I need just handful of individuals who will turn to gold. How beautiful. What an opportunity given to us, no? And that will happen through our turmoils, because all of us are going through, all of us, believe me, each one of us is in the same boat. We all are attached and we all suffer. And through our sufferings, we rise. So suffering is part of the game, no big deal. But whether we are rising or not, whether we are turning gold or not, and gold in each part of our being, especially noticing the parts which are now, right now, they appear black to you. And it's a beauty that they are appearing black to you, because it means you're conscious about their blackness. So as mother says, that not only seeing that, okay, but no, this can be really more better. I can love it much more a detached way. Still I am lacking, that detached love, disinterested love. And again, we come through mother's prayer and meditations, more disinterested work, more disinterested love, because our love is also interested, always interested, always has some manipulation or want in the background. So disinterested love, disinterested work. And I see, and I'm sure all of us would agree, that this is actually our possibility, not only our possibility, that our true fulfillment is in turning gold. There is no other fulfillment that is there. Haven't we seen enough? But this requires a lot of conscious effort and endurance and courage, letting go. And as Sundarji was talking in the first session, what is this letting go? So slowly we can ponder upon, what do I need to let go so that now I can turn gold? What is not allowing me to turn gold? Yes, please, anything, anyone? Yes, so yeah, so I think we continue with this, so noticing small details. Even if we are writing, you're writing with a pen. So many things, we can consciously make effort to do it nicely, and then we don't feel, and mother says that there is no chance to feel bored when you are actually working towards more and more perfection in every action. Writing, if you're writing, making the word a little more nicer, a little more beautiful. Yes, please. Sundarji, you want to add on?
Yeah, you talk about the beginning of the program, about the power released from the cage, command. more power comes in with the kind of prayers which we offer in any manner. What I have experienced or what I find very beneficial for myself is offering prayers to the basic elements of the nature. The basic elements of the nature can be interpreted by each and every one of us in different ways, whether it is fire, whether it is water, whether it is air, whether it is the animals, the different animals, or the different images of the divine, and surrender to them. I think Mother and Sri Aurobindo had this living within them, and they ingrained it so much that they were free of all the sufferings which arose of what you have discussed so well. And the conclusion which I gather is that, that equanimity comes in. You wish betterment for the society, you wish betterment for the area which you live. It follows as a corollary and the end to it. When you have such prayers, that betterment of the society, let the divine have her blessings for the betterment of the immediate vicinity where you are living, of the society where you are in, of the city, of the country, the world. That is a wider scale. And with this itself is attracting, it gives an attraction of knowing the ultimate. See, the ultimate is what you have been discussing about for the last 3 days. If there is one, if there is an ultimate, there is one. And then it is fascinating, and it is inbuilt into the system. It may take a long time. We don't, not to gauge about it, not to be worried about it, or that how much will it take. So that and if we believe about soul, all these are big words which I don't understand. What is a soul? I don't know. I've not seen a soul. You call about present day context Sanatan, karma, rebirth. It fits the logic and does no harm per se. Now you relate it to the universe. You see, the created, we are the created. So it follows as a corollary that we'll have to take recourse to the creator in some ways, easy or long drawn. And the recourse have to be learnt and may have been revealed also. And revealed like avatars of like Sri Aurobindo, Ramana Maharishi, Ramakrishna. There's so many which we have had in our country and abroad as well, particularly a lot of Russians who had visited India long back. They also were very, very enlightened. Dostoevsky and so many people were there. Now, lastly, same thing what I said, it is impossible for life to be the way we wish. That is what is there. Simply because we are neither alone in life, nor can we control the slightest of things that happen. In fact, so many things are happening every second and goes around. So the best, we need morals or ethics, to lead a life of relative peace. And there's no point of religion and the associated activities or belief systems that go with it. For example, gravity. That is what I wanted to say. and how we each one perceives life, and in terms of how we benefit or lose from it. Hence, we as humans quantify and qualify, and thus the question of variety of things happening to us. Again, coming back, life should be kind to us. That's how we want it. Yeah. 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 The question which haunts me is that, everything happens by chance and then takes a route of symmetry or a routine or a design, or actually there is enough chaos and a degree of routine. In our life as human beings, we are able to see more of symmetry, routine, and design. What we observe in other life forms may be completely different. Then, not succumbing to given answers, what you say, without making an effort is very important. To search, to practice, and to find out for ourselves. That is very important. That's why we need to study. The question of why do we need to study about what you have been saying? About the letters or prayers, why do we need to study? If you do study, then we do succumb to the given answers without making an effort to search, practice, and find out for ourselves. We are so lazy? Are we lazy? I question myself: are we lazy to make an effort, or are we afraid to make an effort, or we just do not have the resilience? Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Few things which I've been writing over the years and just sharing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. So much time you have given to us. So valuable. So grateful to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Just by the way, you address yourself as doctor. Are you a medical related doctor?
No, it's just PhD doctor.
Oh, which area, ma'am?
Sorry?
Which subject?
Immunology. Autoimmune diseases.
What is that?
When the body turns against itself.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
That's also a very, psychosomatically interesting field for us to study, because autoimmune disorders are increasing. They have been increasing in the past years. And it's very interesting to see how psychosomatically we are actually killing ourselves in one sense. And that's why the body is also turning against itself. It doesn't recognize who is the stranger and who is the friend. So yeah, but that's what we keep for some other time. But yes, it's an interesting field. Yeah. Thank you, Sundarji, for sharing your thoughts with us. Anyone else would like to share any concluding remarks?
May I?
Yes, please.
So I find the analogy of the river very fascinating. Like a river flows only if it is connected back to its glacier in a way continuously. If there's a block somewhere there, that would mean that the flow would stop. Uh, so your thoughts about that?
I mean, you don't need to know my thoughts about that. It's a nice analogy, I would say. Yeah. And if it resonates with you and gives you a nice visual and is an understanding, then yeah, and it resonates. Yes, very much. Very much.
Earlier you showed a slide that helps me considerably. And the slide was one of the very short prayers from the Mother. All my being prostrated itself before thee, O Lord, in mute adoration and complete self-giving. And when I felt into that one, I realized that in comparison, I sometimes, or I fairly often, when I wake up to an awareness and I remember to offer it, to give it, to get out of this, that when I do it, I don't do it as deeply as the mother's illustration right here. She, who is a grand being, um, with an enormous awareness of her consciousness compared to me, she prostrates herself totally and fully. And me, when I do it, I go, oh, okay, offer. Oh, yeah, Rick, there, offer. I'm offering it. And then I move on. I'm not doing it with the sincerity and the depth and the conviction that the mother is illustrating in that short one-line prayer. So, Monica, your presenting that today helped me.
Yeah, and you're sharing it again. I think reiterating it again for us helps us. Helps us.
Ma'am, are there any audio files available of mother saying prayers?
Yeah, I think there are some. There are some. Yeah. I can share on the group.
Yeah.
But also these days you type anything on Google and you find the link. So if you write Mother Sri Aurobindo and prayers in her voice or prayers in recitation by mother, you will find some links.
What about Sri Aurobindo?
No, I'm not sure, but what I know is that nobody ever recorded Sri Aurobindo's voice, or at least it's not available. That's what I know.
Yeah. Actually, just to share, I
Yeah,
didn't.
but mother's voice is there, and in many uh, Savitri music by Sunilda,
Yeah.
they also we find kind of snippets of mother saying something, and then the music goes. And also the book written by Sri Aurobindo, The Mother, that has been properly read by the mother and recorded, and it's online also. So yeah, we are very grateful that that exists, and we can have direct touch of her tangible consciousness through her voice. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to share one very encouraging and uh, enlivening, enlightening, or pepping up life. Small little two lines by Aurobindo. He writes that let whatever place you have consecrated to the mother or Sri Aurobindo. So it refers to that place, whether it's your desk or your home or your wherever you are. So he says, let this place, in reference to your obeisance to him and her, let this place be worthy of its name and manifest the true spirit of Sri Aurobindo, Aurobindo's teachings and message to the world. This is mother's writing. Mother is writing about Aurobindo. Let this place be worthy of its name and manifest the true spirit of Sri Aurobindo's teachings and message to the world with my blessings. This mother writes, some magazine I found this. Then Sri Aurobindo writes about the mother. The mother's, this is very nice. I every day I read this. Every day I read in the morning, the mother's power and not any human endeavor. The mother's power and not any human endeavor and tapasya can alone rend the lid beautiful. Rend the lid and tear the covering and shape the vessel and bring down into this world of obscurity and falsehood and death and suffering, truth and light and life divine and the immortals Ananda. Sri Aurobindo has written about the mother. Beautiful. This sums up what
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thanks all.
Most welcome, and thank you. Thank you all for being very receptive, and may all of us and all of us who are connected also with us, may all of us get more and more light, move towards more and more light. And this is the dharma of each one of us, to move towards more and more light. So let us be true to our dharma, and let us not be adharmis, and
What?
do our job rightly, which has been given to us. And we actually, as we discussed in the beginning, we only jumped for this job. So let us remember that we jumped, and do it as nicely and sincerely possible, and make the best use of this human life, however years we have, to move further, closer and closer to our goal.
It is Swadharma, ma'am, not Dharma. Swadharma, my Dharma. Swa,
Bilkul.
my.
Bilkul. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. So let us wind up with a prayer, just a silent prayer in our being, offering our own self, our thoughts, our ideas, our opinions, our stories about ourselves, about others, all the complications and entanglements, all the happinesses and good things. Offering all of that, and all the human beings who are connected through us, with us, difficult or easy, doesn't matter. Just all the human beings, creatures, offering all of that, including this being that I call myself, to the higher, to the transcendental, with whose power and grace all of this exists, offering it back to its source. And wishing that each one of us may continue to remember and remember to remember the right plugging in again and again, no matter how many times we may forget, how many times we may not plug in, shamelessly rising up again and allowing others also the chance to do mistakes, errors, because how many do we do? So letting others also move on the path. A complete offering, self-giving. Right now, in this moment, may we offer all of ourselves and our lives to the higher, to the mother, to Sri Aurobindo, to the higher, and serve as an open receptacle for whatever task the divine may give us in this life. Without any arrogance, with our feet firmly on the ground, knowing that we are nothing if not for the divine. offering all of ourselves to the Mother, to Sri Aurobindo, again and again. Thank you, and maybe continue giving ourselves again and again to the higher, to the divine, where we truly belong, so that this world may belong truly, truly to the divine and manifest the divine that wants to shine out of it. May we not be an obstacle. Thank you everyone, and thank you, James.
Pranam.
Yeah.
Thank you, Monica. It's beautiful, beautiful way to end the final session. Yeah. So thank you. I've just circulated a form with the group, so please spend a couple of minutes just filling it in, sharing your experiences, because it'll help us in our future endeavours, I'm sure. And just wish you all a very pleasant evening. And namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
Mother's blessings.
Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.